Hey everybody, Joe and Shawn here, Neighbors Realty team. Happy to have a kitchen party conversation with you. This is where we break down details about listing your home, buying a home, all of the process, just the good to know information. It's fun to be able to share that with people in kind of a more casual way. So today we're talking about market price, Joe.
Yes,
so
very important.
What is market price? How do we achieve that? How do we find out what that is for a home like this one?
Well, first thing we do is we have to do a comparative market analysis.
Yes.
So we take all the homes in the area that are similar to this home, similar in size, similar in condition, similar in age, and we find out what they have sold for.
And that's actually closed, done. The deal is officially over. Keys have been handed off, so the price has been paid, and that's an important thing to know. We're not worried about speculative pricing,
right?
Which sometimes people will use for like a listing price. Listing price, I like to say, hey, that tells me about the seller. What's their ambition? Or is it sometimes being priced really low? We see that in provinces like Ontario, where a home is priced at an amount that they're never going to accept an offer for. Market price, that's actual data. That's facts, that's sold, that's cleared, and we know exactly what people have paid. It's a lot easier to get averages and medians out of that.
Yes, very important.
So, Joe, what is it about a market price that's going to help a person who's selling their home? How does that impact their choice in how they want to list on what price they want to list the home at?
Well, they want to list at market price because the market determines what a house is going to sell for.
Yeah, and that's the market is the buyers. What do they actually pay? Right.
We don't want to overprice. Mm-hmm. We don't want to underprice. We want the best for our clients. We want the best for our sellers, and we don't want to overprice because then, we're going to sit. It's going to sit for a while, and people are just going to overlook it.
Yeah, and it's not going to end up showing up on the lists of people that want to buy a home that's like that one, and we might be losing out to competition right in the same neighborhood too.
Yeah, so if someone was to overprice, eventually they would have to lower the price and do price reductions, and then it would eventually reach its market value.
And if it has been sitting for a while, we're going to have collective days on market. So how long has the house been totally listing for? And I don't know about you, but when I bring buyers to a home where they're asking questions about something that they saw listed online and they see it's been listed for 100 days, 180 days, 380 days, their question is, what's wrong with the house? And there might not be anything wrong with the house.
Yeah.
That's the important thing about that. And we don't want to see a seller stressed and frustrated through that whole time as well, right?
Yes.
So
I've worked with buyers and we've purchased homes that have been on the market there was one that I work with buyers on. It was on the market for 800 days.
Whoa!
800 days. My buyers came in quite a bit lower than asking price because it was overpriced. It was overpriced with the first realtor. It was overpriced with the second realtor. And of course, this was pre-COVID.
Oh, wow. So that's before the market was going insane too.
Yes.
So where you had more buyers than you had properties available too.
Yes.
So as someone who has worked with buyers and looking at market price, because we're doing the same analysis. It's the same analysis whether you're a listing agent or you're a buyer's agent in a given situation. We're doing the same market analysis. It's the same data. So coming and bringing a buyer to look at homes in a community, what is it that the buyers are getting for a perspective there?
Well, it's very similar to a comparative market analysis for buyers. Is very similar to a comparative market analysis for sellers because we want to compare what else they can get with. When you're representing buyers, you want to make sure buyers get the best bang for their buck.
Yeah.
We want the best for our buyers and we want the best for our sellers. So
looking at homes, I mean, sometimes we might look at 3 homes in a community and they might even be priced very similarly and around market price, but now we have to get into the details. Okay, so one has a detached garage and a deck built, and another one might still need to have the sod laid down on a new build.
Yes.
Right?
This one right here that we're in right now has the sod laid down, the deck built, the detached garage, and
it's an excellent example of when we're comparing apples to apples. Well, this is the shinier apple. In fact, compared to, I know we have a lot of new build in this particular community that's competing against this house, because this is a 2022 build that we're in for this particular home. But if we compare the prices there of something that's still a piece of dirt versus something that's fully developed, it's got its sod laid down, it's got the bonus building, it's got the deck work done already. So now when we're comparing apples to apples, well, for a home of a similar square footage, of a relatively recent build, new or a couple of years old like this one, we're definitely not looking at the exact same beast.
Yeah.
So it ends up being a leveling of the playing field almost, right?
Yep. And, double wide paved driveway as well.
Yeah, I mean, asphalt's not cheap. You'd think it would be, but it's not. So those little improvements make a big difference. So when it comes to a market analysis, I know when I like to do it is usually if my clients are kind of window shopping and then they're starting to drill down and they're at that stage where they're like, hey, we've got our finances ready, everything's locked and loaded and ready to go. Shawn, we're ready to go and take a look at some homes now. Okay, great. Let's see what seems to be priced within that market appropriately, and make sure that everything fits. Because part of the challenge sometimes too, especially if someone's just listed their home and they're well over market price, it can be a challenge to go and see that home and want to offer appropriate market price, what people are actually offering, because that seller's expectations might still be high. And on the inverse, when I'm with a client that's listing their home, when I'm talking to them about market price before we list, or if they want to list a little bit higher and work on seeing if they can achieve that price or not. And if it doesn't happen, we got to have those conversations of bringing it down. But a seller's going to feel like they're coming down quite a bit from their ideal number, as opposed to setting that expectation right away in that listing conversation of what the market is paying. And if we know what the market is paying, it's a more reasonable expectation, and we're not suddenly having a lot of heart loss because it's like, oh no, I had to come down $30,000 on my property. Well, you didn't really come down. The market paid what it paid, and that was fair.
There's the price the seller wants, then there's the price that the buyer wants.
Yes.
Then there's a price somewhere in the middle, probably, with the market.
Somewhere where everyone is happy.
Yes.
Or at least content.
Yes.
And I think that raw data, I mean, you were an analyst for years, and I'm just a data geek, that I think we appreciate numbers a lot, and we like having these conversations with our clients too, because again, we set reasonable expectations. We also get to have a conversation again about what does this dollar amount get us? Because sometimes we're talking about a certain price point. Well, this is what's selling for $350. This is what's selling for $400. This is what's selling for $450. Right? As we have those conversations, I think people start to get, especially buyers, sometimes get a better sense of and feel for what there is. Because even if we come down lower than that, well, at what threshold are we starting to look at homes that need a lot more work too?
Yeah.
Right?
We have a lot of data to analyze. We can see a lot of different.
A lot of different data points. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I think when it comes to market analysis, trust in your realtor. That's what we're here for. Our job is to help you with that. Our job is not to beat around the bush, but to make sure that you know and understand what the numbers are telling us, what the market is telling us. And we pay attention to trends too, because this deep dive into that data tells us when, hey, there's a bit of a dip in the market. Maybe there's a bit of a rise in the market. And if you're a seller or you're a buyer, that might be advantageous to you. So, So there's a lot of good information in market analysis. And I think it's definitely something that's worth doing. So
definitely.
I'm Shawn.
I'm Joe.
We're with Neighbors Realty team at Royal LePage Atlantic, and we're here to help you out. So give us a call.
Thank you.